well, restaurants and some temporary expositions inside. And there's one exposition which tells us all about life during the UEFA Cup of Liverpool and Juventus. There was a big accident. Liverpool fans, they pushed back the Juventus fans and thereby killing lots of people and more than 600 injured. And that is when Liverpool was completely banned from the UEFA, and few supporters were also accused of manslaughter. I won't tell you all about it. Mostly here the Belgians, we take lots of beer and then we start discussing politics, but we won't do that here today. What I can tell you now is that we are more than over a year without a government. We have an interim government. We are recently speaking. I'm from the northern part, so my native language is Flemish, which is the same as Dutch, but we speak softer Flemish. And then Brussels, this middle part here in Belgium, where the capital is bilingual, and the whole south is French speaking. Well, and the both parts are bickering over the city or the federate state of Brussels. So well, they're still talking. They're talking every day, but no decisions yet. So they're talking about splitting up Belgium. So maybe next time you come here, you will be in the Republic of Flanders, huh? Who knows? Anyway, Brussels came to existence as a very small city on the side of a river, the Senne River, which is a Chinese pavilion. He was also a man that liked to travel a lot, and he loved Paris. The Chinese pavilion, he didn't get it from China, he got it from a fair in Paris. He just got it by Balat, but designed by Victor Horta. Horta is a Belgian designer, architect, well known for the Art Nouveau and also Art Deco. These are the greenhouses of the royal castle and also the prince and the princess. Here in the distance there, that's the royal palace. Now actually this is where the prince and the princess, Prince Philip and Princess Mathilde, they live inside. The king and the queen, they live in the belvedere of the castle, so now they don't live here. They have a second castle in the center, what we will see later on the tour. And well, that is where they have their ceremonies and to give them an idea, but they stay childless, unfortunately. Not a beautiful thing, huh? But that is Albert II, our king. Next to us here and behind us, you have a beautiful view here. If you look to the back of the coach, we'll see it later when we go back to the hotel. Well, it's as known as Père Lachaise in Paris. It's all the artists and all the famous people. So here we are approaching the center of Brussels. You will see that all the street names and the signs are written in the two languages, so Flemish and French. Now officially we have 3 languages in Belgium, also German. That's a very small part towards the German border where they speak German. But here Brussels is bilingual.
Yung mga gilded na noon, kaya lahat may balcony.
And it was owned by the Turnen Taxis. It was a German family who nowadays they still own many breweries. A very rich and wealthy family. The Turnen Taxis, the right side with the small clock. The Turnen Taxis. So we're driving through Manhattan and then we'll go towards the center and into the European quarter. Now either we go for the very heavy castle beer, it's a darkish beer, Grimbergen, darker castle beer. It's a little bit heavier than the normal beers. Or if you don't like the bitterness of beer, you can also have a kriek. Now those are walking to the city and you can have your free time and your hundreds to celebrate 75 years of Belgium. But it took them a long time to construct, and it was halted during the World Wars, so it was only finishing. And when you look at it, and when if you've been in Paris and you've seen the Montmartre, you will immediately see that it looks quite like the Montmartre, only while this one has a green dome. The yellow bicycles, now that's a new feature here in the Belgian cities. You can see them everywhere in Europe. Now these bicycle stands, they're everywhere in the city, and they're for free for half an hour. You can buy, for the people here in Brussels for example, they can buy for 1 year, they buy a card, it will cost you €30, and you can use the bicycles every time for half an hour for free. And otherwise you can use your special card that you can buy in the tourist offices, and that is how you can use your bike. So if you don't want to use the public transport or buses or taxi, then this is a very nice way to visit the city. Huh? Also, like free parties, it's just a place to meet people and well, to have a small party outside. Now I've told you that from the 15th century on, Brussels became a very big and prosperous city, and then especially because of the Dukes of Burgundy, the Burgundian Dukes. They form a part of a huge empire later on, the Habsburgian Empire. That is because Mary of Burgundy, she married with Maximilian, and Maximilian was a Holy Roman Emperor and part or a branch of the family of the Habsburgians from Austria. Later on, their grandson, Charles V, he was crowned King of Spain here in Brussels. Their center of power, their palace, was now. We have a Burgundian lifestyle. Now I've already told you that we have 380 different sorts of beer, and that goes from just the normal lager beers to the heavier castle beers. We had monks brewing beer from very early times, or the 8th and 9th century. They were brewing beer in the abbeys. And now you will have the regions and the cities, they are brewing their own beer. Here in Brussels it's the Geuze, very typical beer from the city of Brussels. And of course we all have our specialties. Now a Bourgogne of the Belgians. And at the bottom here you can see the two lions, those were representing Flanders and Wallonia. And in the middle the eternal burning flame, because that is the burial site of 5 unknown soldiers that died during the World War. And is the Congress column that is named after the very first Congress that was held here in Belgium in 1831. And on top, if you can see that high, can you see it? All the way with the chocolate, because chocolate makes your clothes shrink, so be careful with that. Now if you don't like chocolate and you do there with sugar, but the very Brussels waffle. The Parliament. Well, I guess it's empty now, huh? There's the Belgian flag and the European flag, the blue flag with the 12 yellow stars. This is the place where the Belgian Revolution took place. On the corner here, that is the office and the house of our Prime Minister. And they say that this park actually more or less is representing the constitutional monarchy of Belgium. On the other side, there is the second palace of the king. So that is Swiss embassy here with the flag, the British embassy. Now, constitutional monarchy, the Prime Minister takes a stroll through the park and goes and tell the king that the government has fallen again. I think our last Prime Minister did that a few times. And you can see here it's weekend, so there is another party here in the park. Every weekend, free parties. That is our Burgundian lifestyle. Eh? Now the waffles, I was telling you about the waffles. Now the waffles, we eat them as a dessert. We don't eat them as food, we eat them as a dessert. And you can have them with powdery cream, or you can have them with strawberries, or with whipped cream, or with chocolate, or with all 4 of those at the same time on top of the waffle. Very delicious Brussels waffles. And of course we had talking about the actual mussels. Now of course it's not quite a time anymore to eat mussels, because most of the mussels now here in Belgium, they are imported. What you would go for now are the asparagus. The asparagus. It's the season of the asparagus, so if you like them, you should go for them, or the Brussels sprouts. Waterzooi is also the beginning of the European quarter, and this is the European Parliament. Now the European Parliament and the European Union, well, this one moved from Strasbourg, our European Parliament. Now normally they went every month, they went with the whole Parliament, about 700 people. They moved to Strasbourg and they stayed there for 2 weeks and then they came back. So now they are thinking green as well, so they're not doing that anymore. They're only going every 2 months. So they don't have to move the whole micmac up to Strasbourg. But they brought it here because, well, this is beginning of the European quarter here, and they wanted all the European institutions centralized. French fries, no, Belgian fries. Finished 75 years after Belgium was founded, so what the name stuck, the Cinquantenaire, 50 years of Belgium. You can see, well, it's a triumphal arch. Huh? There are 3 triumphal arches, in fact. On the right side, there is the museum of our army, the Belgian army, and in front of us that is the Automobile Museum. In my language, in Flemish, this is called the Jubelpark, or the Park of Happiness, you can say. The Cinquantenaire, commemorating 50 years of Belgium. On top, when you look at the back, on top of this monument, you can see a very modern construction, the Cube, and that was built by one of the companies that built that was Electrolux. That is a thing here in Europe.